Hello, hello, hello. We are live and it is 2024. We are in a new year. Welcome back to FEM Talk. And we have a great show for you tonight. But before we get started, you know what we do. I got to bring in the ladies of FEM Talk. We've got Shima She Talks. And we have Dr. Melissa Simmons. Hey, ladies.
Hello.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It is great to be back live again. And we have a special show for you tonight. And we're gonna do a hot topic, but our hot topic is gonna be about Fem Talk fantasy football. So we have got the commish himself. Yes, we've got the commish here. Hello.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Doing well. Happy New Year. Happy 2024.
Same to you. Missed you, ladies. I'm glad you're all back.
We missed you too. So glad we had an opportunity to see you, for me anyway, because I'm away from you guys. I had the opportunity to see you over the Christmas holiday. So yes. that was fun. Yes. So listen, we don't want to delay this because people want to know about football. We're in the playoff season now. So tell us, Commish, how did fantasy football go and who won?
Oh, let me tell you, fantasy football this year for the Fem Talk Fantasy Football League was very exciting in its inaugural season. It was a battle. Your very own girl, Boss Up Mimi, was tied for the best record.
Nice.
In the league, 11-3, no small feat in fantasy football.
Very nice.
She came up a little short in the championship game, but there was one team that was far and above superior than all the rest, and that was a team from Connecticut. They're called 69 Broadway Dogs. It's managed and run by Nicholas Simmons, your own producer, and his roommates. And they definitely taught us a thing or two about fantasy football.
Nice. So listen, Fem Talk won, no matter how you slice it.
Right. To me, Fem Talk won. It was tied for the best record. It was very exciting. It was very intense at sometimes. As you know, I lived with one of the owners of one of the teams, and it was very intense from week to week there.
Did you get a lot of flack, Commish?
I did see a video that got made, and I think the commissioner got thrown under the bus a little bit based on the scheduling rules and stuff. So I'm going to have to go back and look at the rules for next year and see if there's some tweaking we might have to do to it.
Not wrong with any tweaking.
Nice. So I already have an owner for you for next year.
Oh, good. We need to get more women in. I need to kick the guys out to make it a true Fem Talk league.
It's not a woman though. It's a Fem Talk child. Jordan wants to join next year.
Okay.
Jordan! More guys. Okay, I guess I have to leave the guys in there.
That's right.
But it was very exciting. But I do have some awards I need to give out.
All right.
Like I said, the Broadway Dogs from Connecticut, the actual team name is the 69 Broadway Dogs. They are going to get the Fantasy Lombardi Trophy as the champions this year.
Nice.
They also had the longest winning streak during the year with 8 wins in a row at one point during the season. They were the top scoring team. Nobody could outscore them. And they were the best defensive team. They gave up the fewest points all year.
All right.
Nice.
Girl Boss Up Mimi, she gets the silver medal. She did everything right. She had her own advisors for her team, and she did what she needed to do, and she represented Fem Talk very well.
Nice.
She had another team is I Am Panama, who is her first time playing, and I think we talked about her unique drafting style. But she did come in third place, and we gave her the Rookie of the Year. This is her first time really doing anything with football.
That's really well, though, to come in third place, first time, not knowing anything about football.
Yes, she did very well, very well. We have another team called Alien Superstars, managed by Ashley Simmons. I gave her the award of on the cusp of greatness. She is almost there. She was in our guys league, a guys only league, and she went to the championship game. And she made one mistake in the championship game, and it cost her the championship.
Oh,
But Alien Superstars is going to be a force to be reckoned with next year. So watch out, FEM Talk people. I gave myself the unfocused owner award because I wasn't. I came in fifth, but my record was 4-10, and I always say I wasn't trying to win, but I was not fully focused on this league as I should have been, and I apologize to the owners of FEM Talk for that. But I'll be better next year. Now that I know the guys are going full strength, full throttle, I'm going to have to bring it next year.
Nice, very nice. You were taking care of everybody else, right?
Yes, I was taking care of everybody else, so it was hard to manage my own.
Right.
We had another owner, Timor Grit, who finished in 7th place. She had a really good team. I don't know what happened to her during this year, so I gave her the underachiever award because she should have did a lot better. Her team dictated that she would have, and she had one of the biggest blowout wins of the year. She won one game by over 100 points.
Wow.
So she should have performed much better. But next year should be best. And then we have one more owner. Her name, the name of the team is Queen Bees. And the Queen Bees was a very good team. So I gave her the best effort award this year.
oh,
But it was a really good year. It was very exciting. Everybody had a great time. The phone calls were going back and forth throughout the owners all year. A lot of smack talking. But overall, I have to, before I end, just want to once again congratulate our league champions. Hurts to say it. But our league champions, the 69 Broadway Dogs, all the way from Connecticut, they did good, and I believe they had a press conference scheduled. I don't know if it went off or not, but you might see a clip of that on this show at some point. I don't know.
I love it. Was it approved?
It was approved. It was approved. They're the champions, so they can do what they want.
Very nice. Very nice. I love it. So before we get off of football and go into what we're doing tonight, give us some of your favorite highlights from the season.
Oh, my favorite highlights from the season. I mean, the whole season was very thrilling. One of the highlights are the unique drafting style of I Am Panama. The constant screaming and yelling in front of the TV by girl bossed up Mimi. She was all in at the beginning, but she got so rattled and so nervous near the end, she did not watch the games anymore. So it was very exciting, but just the competition between everybody was good. It was a lot of moves being made, especially in the last few weeks. The Broadway Dogs made some very strategic moves to maintain their spot.
To beat me. They made moves to beat me.
And those might be part of the rule changes for next year. I didn't put a limit on the amount of position players that you could have. Most leagues you could have like maybe 2 max quarterbacks or 3 max running backs, and I didn't put a limit. So the last weeks they kind of stockpiled running backs and wide receivers, so another team could not get those players for that week and try to mount a comeback. But it's all in good fun. It was within the rules, so I could not reject their moves. So, but we'll tweak the rules, like I said, and make it a more competitive league next year.
And our producer saying he played the game to win. Hey, listen, you can't be mad at strategy.
Yes, the strategy worked.
It was so much fun. I would encourage it was one of the best things I've done in a long time. It caused great conversation. I learned so much about the players. I have some new favorites. I still love my Mahomes, but I have new favorites. McCaffrey, you my hero, McCaffrey. Lamar, he was my quarterback at the end. He's gonna get the MVP for the NFL because he was just excellent. And I tell you, hint, ladies, it's a great way to talk to your men. I'm telling you, the conversations go on and on and on.
Sometimes it's good. Some of the conversations was a little intense.
Yeah, some of them you start saying bad words and stuff like that. But it was so much fun. I've learned, and I was always a football fan, but now doing this really gives you a much better insight to the game. I think overall this was a good NFL season. The people that should have won didn't win, and last couple of weeks was just exciting. So next year we're gonna be in it. We're gonna be in it to win it.
Yes, and next year we're looking to this FEM Talk Fantasy League. We're looking for expansion. So if you want to play, you want to get a team, join the league. We're looking to expand. We want to add some teams next year. Like I said, we're gonna have some rule changes, some playoff format changes.
There you go.
And we're going to have some position player limits next year. So join the league is going to be very fun. We're going to be very exciting. We had a great time this year.
I talked to the Broadway dog. They did a great job. Due to team saying that the press conference was great.
They played too hard.
But I will say this: they taught us a thing or two, at least me, about strategy. Football is all about strategy. It's all about making smart moves, and they did a great job. Ken, I'm coming for you next time. But Nick and Ken and Todd, I got y'all. But anyway, they did a great job. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Just think of it this way. It took 3 guys to beat you, honey.
That's right.
3 guys to beat you.
Oh, I have one shout out though. My guru, CJ, guru. That's my boy. He signed off on every move every week I made. And that's my hero, CJ.
Very nice. Very nice. We love it. We thank you, Kamish, for dedicating your time to doing the fantasy league for us, because we know it takes a lot of time, and we know that you get a lot from all the teams. So
yes,
thank you for your patience and your kindness throughout this.
And I want to see you two ladies at the top of the screen with a team next year. So read up on football now.
We're gonna do it.
Definitely.
I'll have somebody else doing mine too, though. But I'm gonna do it. But we love you. We thank you. As always, we appreciate you so much.
Thank you, FEM Talk family.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, everybody.
I have to give him a special prize.
Give him a special prize. That's right. So we want to get into tonight's topic. We are starting at the top of the year. And if you all don't know, our very own Girl Bossed Up, she does vision board and passion board parties. So we want to make sure, and it is not too late. We are at the top of the year. We want to make sure that you have your vision in place. So even if you have a vision board already and you're looking to enhance it, join the party with us. If you need a vision board, join the party with us. And I want Dr. Melissa to tell everybody out there why it's so important to have a vision board.
Oh, let me tell you something. One of the things, and I see a lot of comments every year, this is the time of the year that people do, as we used to in the old days call it, our New Year's resolution, right? And by the second week of the year, most of that is already gone, right? and then vision board parties came up, and there was great parties. People would get together, and they would have them in all kinds of settings. And that little, cardboard thing, they took all the magazines and cut them out. And by February, nobody even knows where they are.
Yeah.
But what I do is a bit different, and I say a lot different. It really is tied into the mission for your life. What are you called to do? Who are you? And what do you need to do? I think the importance of doing that is really to focus your attention on what you need to do. I think so many of us get pulled off of who we are. We
Mm.
get pulled away from our passions. We get pulled away from our goals in life
Yeah.
to the things that we should focus on. And we find ourselves 5, 10, 15 years later looking at our lives and saying, what am I doing? We don't have this inner glow, this inner happiness. We're run down, we're burned out, and we want to know where life has gone. So what I do is kind of tap back into the purpose of who we are and really allow people to set their new year. This is now 2024. So if I'm doing this for you, working with you this year, I help you set up your 2024 for success in every area of your life. So your vision board is not just about business. It's about your relationships. It's about your family. It's about your spiritual growth. It's about your personal growth. So it encompasses who you are, and it really focuses on the gifts and talents you have that should be shared with the whole world. Because guess what? There's not another Tracy. There is not another Shima. There's not another Melissa. So what we're called to do based on our own skills and talents, that got to get out to the world. And if we're sitting on that because we don't know what to do next, that's how life just passes us by. So what we do then is really to get you to do what you're called to do.
I
Get
love
that mojo going.
I love it. So for those, I'm going to ask you, for those who haven't done this before ever, where would you tell them to start?
So it is great. I did a podcast the other day with on the matter with Chopia. She was so it was such a great podcast, and she asked me the same question: where do people start?
Mhm.
And I encourage you to start at the beginning. Who are you? I think that's the ultimate question. And I always give, my bestie's here with me today. And I always give her credit to starting this journey of self-discovery with me, where years ago she asked me this key question and she said, "What makes you happy?"
Mm.
And when she asked me that question, I was dumbfounded. I was like, huh? What do you mean what makes me happy? And I didn't have an answer. I didn't know what I could do in the moment or in a day to make myself happy. And I started like really thinking about it. And I remember so clearly the next day I called her all excited. I know what makes me happy. And I told her. And she says, "Well, why does it make me happy?" And I looked at her, oh crap, I gotta go figure out why. So
Poor boy.
exactly. So it really began this self-awareness journey, this self-discovery journey of me. Um, and it had nothing to do with my career or the level of success I had achieved up to that time. I remember I was a CFO for one of the largest districts in New Jersey. So everybody, if you looked at me, it appeared that I was at the pinnacle of success and what else makes you happy? But I was sitting there questioning, what do I do now? Like what is this? Because there was this, I didn't have that inner glow. I didn't have that inner peace. I didn't feel that inner satisfaction um, up until I started doing self-discovery.
Yeah. You really have to take a voyage with yourself. I can identify with that too, where you feel like, okay, based on society, and I'm putting the air quotes up, right? Because based on society's rules, right? Oh, everything looks great when you're in that profession, right? Where you're making a decent amount of money, and people think that you've made it, right? But if you're not doing what you're called to do, or if it doesn't do exactly what your bestie asked you, if it's not making you happy, then
Right.
what is it all for?
What does it all mean? And
Yeah.
I think we get so caught in and and our young people, I know it happened to me. A lot of us go to college and we get that. And, we're told, one of the things I shared, I remember telling my parents, oh, I want to dance. And they said, oh, that's nice. You go to college and you take an elective, but you're going to get your degree in business. They told me it was business I had to get my degree in. Okay. And I got the degree in business. I zipped up my jacket. I put my hair in a bun. I put my suit on and I went to work. And I kept on going to work. And like I said, 10, 15 years later, I'm sitting there saying, now what? Because that wasn't a passion of mine. Business wasn't a passion of mine. You know what I'm saying? So now where do I go from here? And I think even in some of the things we do in business, I had to, I call it that intersection. One of my key scriptures for the year is for such a time as this, right? And the belief that I have is such a time as this is when your gifts and talents intersect with a specific time. And when you get that time in your life and your goals and your passions intersects with that time, that's the time to now use that gift and talent for the purpose that it's called to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So wait, I want to stop you there for a moment because that's profound, right? How do people know? Like, how do they tap into knowing exactly when it's for such a time as this and that intersection is happening?
That's such a good question. And you know it because you have prepared for it. You have done the work to get there. And you can't even do the work until you identify what are the goals, what are the gifts, and what are the talents. So again, that self-discovery comes into play. For example, one of the things that like I said, I love to dance and I love to do the things in dance. But I found myself at the time of my life that I now wanted to use it even more was, can I do that? Am I in shape to do the dance? I'm in a position to do the dance. So it was interesting. I'm just, one day sitting in the church and I'm not doing anything in the church. And I hear this announcement come about. And they said, we're looking for somebody to start a dance ministry for the church. I said, right? Because now here comes that moment. I have this time. I have this gift. And now the request came out, and now the gift and the time intersected.
Yeah, I love that.
And one of my other besties, she's on the line too. She was part of fantasy football. That's how we met. She answered the call, and I answered the call, and together we teamed up and we created a dance ministry. And that's what we're looking for. But if you're not even tapped into that gift, if I wasn't ready to dance, if my body wasn't in shape for dancing, if I wasn't prepared in my life to create the time for that, I would have missed that moment.
Yeah.
And those are the things we have to prepare for.
Yeah. And I want to say to people out there, right, if you're listening to this, because this is so good, start preparing now, right? Don't wait for the intersection. You heard Dr. Melissa say you need to be prepared. So start preparing now. So you think about what you're passionate about, what your gifts are, what you're really being called to do, and then go for it. And then just listen, right? Just pay attention and be aware so that when the intersection happens, you'll just be ready to launch already, right? Because you've already been preparing yourself for it. So I love that. Yeah. I love that. So now talk a little bit about, now starting to get into it. So when you've identified, what you're good at, what your gifts, your talents are, what you're really passionate about, talk about, now why they need to make it visual and then going about doing that.
Right. So even before the discovery, right after the discovery, before you get to the, identifying the goals, it's now, what is it going to take for me to manifest this goal? What is it going to take to manifest my gift? What is it going to take to manifest my talent? Because some things got to be prepared for. So say you have a gift for business, but you may need to now go to school to learn or to get certified in that area. You may now need to do something. So this is how you start developing things. So you start, the first, after you discover what you're good at or what you're talented in, you write it all down. the actual process of writing something down is biblical. There is a point of power that comes when you document something. He says, write the vision and make it plain.
Mhm.
Okay. So that's what God has told us to do. So now you take what you kind of discovered and write it. I have a what I call my gifts and talents journal where I write things down. So once I write it down, now I say, well, how am I going to make this happen? What does it take to make that happen? So now you start kind of looking at everything, because this is another piece that I want kind of everybody to get. You don't have to pick. I remember that moment in my life where, it was a church moment. I was talking to my pastor, and he went on to say, he says, I know you're talented in all these areas, but you need to pick one thing. You can't do everything. And I remember walking out that meeting, I was discouraged.
Mm.
And, and I didn't ask God at the point, but at one point in my state of being discouraged, I finally heard the voice of God say, I didn't tell you that, he did.
Mm-hmm.
And it just woke it back up in me. And he says, I never told you to pick. If I
Mm-hmm.
give you all these gifts, why do you not have to choose what you got to do?
Yeah. And I want to just make that point. We gotta hit home on that. Don't ever let anybody discourage you from doing what you are called to do and what God has told you and what he has for you. Don't ever let anybody shut you down.
Shut you down. And
Yeah.
I think we do those things. And let me say this, if you're hearing this and you might have been a victim to this, or you may have been a person doing that.
Yeah.
On the podcast I was just on with Dr. Obi, she said when she was a younger girl, somebody told her, you talk too much.
Mm.
And she literally stopped talking. She said, I stopped talking. And I created this system where I just listened to what people say and I stopped talking. And I said, but look at that. Now, because of your ability to speak, you're heading up a very popular podcast because you have the gift of language. You have the gift to speak. Everybody doesn't speak like that. Yeah. So, so people may have told you in your life, oh, you're not good at this, or they may have talked to, I remember when my Nick was a young kid, he had this ability to speak to older people all the time, always involved, always doing something, in front of something. And, somebody, I remember people say, oh, he's so rambunctious and he's so this and he's so that. And maybe he got ADD. Maybe you need to give him something. They're going to give me all these things. And I was so discouraged as a mom. And I remember this anointed woman came to me, and Nick was like maybe 3. Mm-hmm. And she walked over to me. She says, your son is a leader. You're a leader. And that unlocked that gift. And I said, now I know what to do with my son. Yeah. So, people will say things, and you can't, to your point, you can't listen to people. You hear God about who you are. Mm-hmm. Don't allow what people say, about you to kind of, move you off of things, and reconsider what people may call your weakness, because that may be your superpower. Mm-hmm. I heard people say, people say I'm too quiet. That may be the superpower, because that means you're a listener. Mm-hmm. Maybe they need a listener. You know what I'm saying? So really be conscious of what people had in the past kind of discounted in your life, and see like, wait a minute, maybe this is what I need to follow and pursue. Yeah. I think so many of us kind of get turned around because of what people have said.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to break here really quick, because I want people to really think about this. Think about all that you have heard so far, so that you can move into putting your vision together, going through the discovery, right? Because that's the first part of it that Dr. Melissa mentioned, going through the discovery first, and then, writing it down, making it plain. And then we're going to get into putting it in front of you, making it visual. And I'm sure Dr. Melissa has some good stuff to show us. Yeah. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna come right back. We want you to, fulfill all of your dreams, your calling, your purpose, your gifts, your talents for 2024. It's a new year. It's time to get to it, right? Just get to it. So we can take that break, and then we'll be right back.
I am also working on my 2024 passion board, because one thing I have learned is that when you are intentional about what you want to happen, things actually happen. Every year I've taken the time to do my passion board. I've taken the time to come up with my theme for the year and really what I need to do. Put my goals down, and God has not disappointed. Everything that I've written down has come to pass, and I'm about to do the same thing to go into 2024 right. So if you need a little bit of help, a little bit of leading in how to do your own passion board, just hit me up. Message me, DM me on Instagram or on Facebook, and we will get going. I hope you have the same exciting 2024 that I know I'm going to have. I'll see you soon.
Hey, I was enjoying the commercial, right? I was enjoying the commercial, but I love the commercial. And I love how you showed it two different ways on your commercial. How you can do it virtually, because you had a virtual vision board there, and then you had one where you could tell that was like a live copy of a vision board, like a hard copy of a vision board. So I love that, because I'm just going to say this to people: do it the way it works for you.
Yeah.
Do it in a way that you're going to have it in front of you. So if you're always on the computer and you like that better, put it there, right? But if you're someone who needs it on the wall, put it there, but do it in a way that is going to make the difference for you, so that you can keep the vision in front of you and continue to just kind of go after what you really want in life.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I love, and Shima could even speak to this a bit. And it depends on how you want to do it. Sometimes people, it's very personal for them, so they like to just kind of like work it out with you personally, because they have some real things they want to tap into. Then others, we've done. I know a few years ago we did one in the office with some of the women that were willing to stay after. Remember that? And it was so much fun. And a few of them, I don't know if she didn't want to talk about that, but you remember a few of them brought their daughters with them. So it wasn't even about just women in the office. They had their children with them. And it was just so powerful. It was so powerful.
And they were so tapped in that they didn't want to stop. And of course, that's the first thing they ask is, if we stay on, will you stay with me while I do it? Because there's a point when you can just flow from whatever you make your pictures, your post-its, drawing, whatever. And they wanted to be connected. They wanted it was a safe environment. So they wanted to be connected, and they wanted to continue to just purge and just and it was so much space. You think about those little spaces, those little cardboards we used, but there was so much space for them, subliminally, that they just wanted to keep purging and keep growing right there, and they didn't want to interrupt it. It's like when you're writing and you don't want to stop, and it's flowing from you don't want to stop. It was just amazing, and it was more amazing to see that initially they brought their daughters, and I invited my sister, and it was supposed to be a work event, but you could see people in the house because we did on Zoom. You could see people in the house. They were intrigued. And it's infectious.
It really is.
Do FEM Talk know about it?
I remember that word, infectious. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, which came out of
our other nickname is infectious.
Yes. I gave you both of those nicknames. But it really was, and that actually came out of us building our vision with Women Empowered. And Dr. Melissa and I were sitting at the same table together, and we were going through our visions, and she was just glowing. You could tell that this was right up your alley, and you just love to explore, who you are and who you were becoming. And it was infectious, which is why I said that to her. That's her part of her nickname, because it got me into it. Because like yourself, right, being in finance and business, and you know, that you don't tap in that industry, you don't tap into that, right?
Mhm.
So I can just remember being there with you at that table and just exploring and getting excited about it all, because I hadn't really tapped into that much, I would say,
Yeah.
not since I was probably a
Mhm.
younger, like a teenager. So
Mhm.
it was just good to be able to go through that process with you, and just yeah, all of that love and all of that joy, it just wrapped around me, and I was like, "Ooh, I'm ready to go for this." Yeah,
Just happy with all of that.
yeah,
And you know how sometimes you think, oh, everybody does this. The more I do this, the more I learn people don't do this, and they don't do this in this fashion.
yeah,
I just did one for the Alumni Association for Exusia University. So they got the alumni together, and about 7 of the alumni got on the call, and I went through this process with them. And when I tell you, the tears, the revelation, the amazement, that we were able to go through in just an hour of conversation.
mm,
And mind you, I asked some specific questions to get you to think, and they seemingly like Charlene's question, they seemingly are very simple, but when you consider them for yourself, the door opens. And like people said, I never thought about that. I never asked myself that question.
Right.
Never considered that. And
yeah,
then when you get into it, and now they are able to now move that from discovery to revelation
mm,
to now gift, now talent, now options, it just takes it off.
yeah,
And that's that process that becomes amazing. It's that, last year I did one. I got to tell this story. I did this one with my niece. And she came over, and she is just a ball of energy. I love him. Shout out to Cheryl.
mhm.
Cheryl also was on the show when we did it for the dating. And she did, and she says, I know exactly what I said, well, you go ahead, girl. And the question, when I was asking her the questions, for her, it was a lot of confirmation. So when she said, I'm ready to do my vision board, and she did her board. Well, Nina, I say one of the things she said is, I will be getting married. I am going to, and we was like, how you going to get married? You ain't dating nobody. She says, I will. And she said, I will be getting married. Well, I am here to tell you, she has an engagement ring. She has
Right.
posted on Instagram. Yes, she is engaged to be married.
Very nice, very nice. So hey, listen, you said it, right? Write the vision, make it plain.
Make it manifest. And
Yeah,
but the intentionality, she was intentional about building a relationship.
yeah,
So it wasn't just this, I want a man. It was, no, I want to, now I'm setting myself up to find the right person, to
mhm,
really build a relationship, to not even accept anybody that's not willing to walk this road with me. So she was intentional.
yeah,
So that intentionality allowed that gift to manifest, allowed
yeah.
that opportunity to manifest. So I just found that just so exciting. Went
And
through it with my daughter Ashley, same thing, just intentional,
yeah. And I just want to mention something too, because a lot of times people don't think about the relationship part and putting that on a vision board. And you need to write the vision, make it plain, put it out there, right? And then do what you said earlier in the show about preparing yourself for it. Because there's
Mhm.
also a way to be able to
Yeah.
prepare yourself for a relationship. And that's a different show. However,
Well,
prepare
not so much, Miss Tracy, because I'm going to tell you
well,
something.
I mean, we could go down a long road talking about prepare yourself for relationships, but yeah,
Right. But if that is something that you want on your vision board, it should be there.
yeah.
And being that you said that, I'm going to show you 2 vision boards
Hmm.
right now. This is mine's and Lamont's one. We did one for our marriage.
Ah, I love
We
that.
did a vision board. This is Lamont. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. His. This is his vision board, and this is mine.
Mhm.
Ah,
And we did one after sitting down for an hour and a half discussing the components of our marriage. We discussed our faith. We discussed our intimacy. We discussed our oneness, the level of the love we have for each other, our trust, our oneness. And we were able to put down, how we saw ourselves in it, and what we wanted to get out of it for 2024. And we came up with our goals for the year. And we now have our own vision board. So anytime, and literally just yesterday, I had to relook at my vision board and say, okay, this is what I promised to do. So it goes in all facets of your life. That's what I'm saying. This is not just something you do for business.
Yeah.
It's not just something you do for, a club. This is something you do for your life.
Yeah.
For your life. And when you're intentional about your career, when you're intentional about your relationships, when you're intentional about things you want to own, if it's a house, when you're intentional. I remember I wanted a house when I first did it, like you mentioned with when we did it with Dr. D. And one of the things I said, I want to buy a house soon, my forever home. And in my preparation, my goals that year to prepare for it was I needed to increase my credit score. Simple. My credit score was not where it needed to be to buy property. Mm-hmm. So I had to put that as one of my goals for that year. I said I have to go over 700. What do I need to do? What are the steps I need to take to get to 700 plus credit score? So that when I applied for my mortgage, I would get the best mortgage out there, right? So now what happened? I had to do that and accomplish that goal. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So these are steps that you need to take to make every year count.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So it looks like you have another board back there. Do you want to share that one as well?
This is my, so like I said, I wrote everything down. I asked myself the same questions, and this is my vision board for 2024.
Nice. And look at that. FEM Talk is on the vision board.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because again, these are things, I mean, and just this is an aside, and I think we talked about this personally. Dreaming, right? Things I want to do. I told myself, and I dare not to tell anybody, but in my heart, I said I would love to be a talk show person at some point. I watched Oprah for years, and I said I would love to do what Oprah does and talk to people and all that kind of stuff. Again, dreaming, felt that was something. Never thought it was attainable. Never thought something like that could happen. Never thought that this was even practical to even say it. Dare I not even tell anybody because everybody would have shut us down. How stupid are you to think you could be on a talk show? FEM Talk Nation. So hey, things happen. And yeah, it's part of my vision because we taking FEM Talk to another level, aren't we? That's so it has to be that. Right? It has to be on my saying this is my scripture for the year. This is my saying, girl bossed up, believe she could, so girl bossed up did. That's my saying for the year, that I'm going to do what needs to be done. I have there where I'm talking about, I am a mentor's daughter, so my mom's in there. And just, when I think about her determination, her tenacity, when I say I'm a mentor's daughter, it's a moment of strength for me. It reminds me who I am. Like, get it together. You're a mentor's daughter. You ain't gonna take that you ain't gonna let nobody tell you that. Get it together. You're a mentor's daughter. So that for me is the strength. So I want to see that, and I want to make this visual for myself this year. My kids, making sure I continue to build the relationships with my children and support them in their endeavors. That's so important for me. So that's here for me. The business we started last year, it was only a fantasy. Our McClan, I shouldn't say fantasy. It was the beginning of McClan Enterprises, right? I could get just 2-3 contracts. 3 contracts, I'd be good. Girl, we got about 7-8 contracts now. So now it's about, and that was on last year's vision board, right? So now I put numbers down. I need to get to the $1 million status, Lord, because I got things to do. So that $1 million is here. So it's opening up that door. and also travel. We plan to travel. So I got my European travel destination. Shima, it's time to start planning. I got my European destinations here. And I just need to do that. I got my besties here. I got besties over here. I got besties there. And that's so, to continue to build a relationship, continue to do together FEM Talk, continue to do girl boy stuff. The summer is coming. We got main speakers, got a new host. Come on now. So all of those things, that's all 2024. So for me, this is what I need to do. And just like I have, if I'm purposely don't have my things on today because I need y'all to see some things. So right behind me, it looks like two little ears behind me, right? Those are my vision boards from the prior years. So I don't get it twisted. Every day I come in here and walk out, I see the vision. What he said, write the vision and make it plain, the visual manifestation. So when somebody gives me and calls me and asks me something to do, I look at my vision board. I said, oh no, I can't do that. That's not part of the plan I have for 2024. So
wait, you just made me think about something. And I love that you just said that. So talk about setting those boundaries around doing things that are not a part of your vision. And I'm not talking about, okay, when somebody needs help, we all know you're going to help people, right?
Right.
But I'm talking about things that are just not aligned with your vision, that don't make sense for you to do. Talk about those boundaries.
And this is what helps you do that, right? So say somebody comes up to me, oh, Dr. Simmons, can you plan a trip to Japan for us this year? I really want to take my girls there, and I know you do girl boy stuff, and I want you to plan us a trip. Oh, okay. Well, we might have to do that for 2025 because I don't have that on my list to do for 2024. Yeah. It's a good idea, but let's plan it out for another year. It's not that it's a no. I'm intentional this year with this. This is what I have to execute. That's not part of the plan. So it's not even about being rude. It's not about telling people, that don't make no sense. It's about, it doesn't fit into my plans right now. We got to be careful whose plans we are executing, because people are good to ask you to do this for them and ask you to do that for them. And we've all heard this. A good thing ain't always a God thing. But a lot of times, I know I have this syndrome. I'm a people pleaser. So I used to in the past say, yes, yeah, come on. I didn't want to call you out there, but we alike, and we be doing things for people and we know we don't got no business doing it. But we people pleasers. So sometimes the ability to say no is hard. But now that I got this focus, I can't do that. And I get that. I get calls, can you come and do this? Oh, I would love to, but you know what? I don't have time right now for that. I'll keep it in mind, but and maybe I'll put it down and maybe I can help you next time. But this time I can't, because guess what? This becomes the priority now. So it allows you to be very intentional about what you say yes to and what you say no to. Yeah. Yes and no are one-word sentences. And we need to understand how that plays into those goals for 2024.
Yeah. All right. So we are almost at the end of the show. So I wanted you to kind of summarize, whatever it is that you want to tell people about really putting, those things in front of them that are important to them, that they are called to do, that they desire to do, that they're really passionate about, to really be able to focus on it, to really be able to activate too, right? Because it's not just putting it there and just leaving it on the wall and then don't pay attention to it, right? You need to activate and get yourself prepared and start moving in the direction of the things that are there. Yeah. So talk about that for the last minute.
In the last minute, what I'll say is, again, you need the process is about you. Until you work on you, you really don't give your best to anybody. So taking that time to figure out, your part, who you are and what you want to accomplish is going to be so important. One of the questions I was asked, how do you do that self-discovery? Obviously, you can call me and I can help you go through that process. It's a wonderful process. And I usually do it over a couple of hours, but say, that's not your thing. You want to try to do it yourself. What tools are out there? There's a lot of tools out there to help you. I know I have one of them, the Girl Boss Stuff 30-Day Journal. This is about self-discovery. You could get it on Amazon, and you could go through this. If you take the 30 days to go through something like this, I guarantee you're going to know new things about yourself after 30 days. So that is a point of self-discovery. So then once you find different things, write it down. The power is in the writing. So you get yourself any kind of journal. I bought this at, the local store. I think Marshall's on sale. Whatever store you go to, you write it down. Create yourself a journal so that you document these things. Then once you do that, then you say, okay, with all these things I want to do, how do I get from A to Z? What are the steps to get from here to there? And there starts the goals. What steps do I need to take? Do I need to go to school? Do I need to take a class? Do I need to lose weight? Do I need to, work? Do I need to see a therapist because I'm not effective in my relationship? I need to do some healing internally in order to accomplish these things because I'm not giving my all to this relationship. So I need to go to a therapist. All of these things should be down on those lists so that you can get from here to there. How do you give yourself in a good relationship if you're broken?
Yes.
So all of those things got to be part of how do I become what I know I want to be.
Yeah. I love that. And listen, I was just in the grocery store on Saturday. You don't even have to go the extra mile to go somewhere else. You don't have to go to the craft store. There's journals right in the grocery store. And I actually just bought one on Saturday for 2024. So
in the grocery store, CVS, Walmart.
Right.
Look, last year I didn't go nowhere. I got a box. I cut the box. I got some old magazines, and I did that one last year from a box cut out. You just do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter.
Let me tell you.
Yep.
That's right. There's always gonna be someone that says, well, I can't. I have to work. I'm busy. You got Post-it notes at your job? Use your Post-it notes.
There you go.
All over the mirror. All around your closet, your new closet. That's me. Put them all around the borders, wherever, so they will see it. When you gotta wash your face. You're not telling me you're going to work and didn't wash your face. Put them on your mirror.
Hopefully not.
Right.
Right. I'm hoping you didn't. But if you do, well, please put it somewhere where you're going to do something. Brush your teeth, wash your face. Put them where your keys are. Something. But there's no excuse. You can use anything. You can get as elaborate as you want. You can get very simple with it. Just do it. That's the bigger thing. Do it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too.
Just be intentional. Just be intentional.
Yeah.
Enjoy your life. Get fulfillment out of your life. And that happens when you are doing what you want to do, what you're called to do, what you are passionate about. And we could all get there. We could all get there.
Absolutely. So this has been another amazing episode of FEM Talk, everybody. Tune in. We are back. We are live. We want to make sure that you are having a successful 2024. Join us next week where myself and Michael C. Clark will be talking about business and body. We're going to go through vision again when we talk about business and body, but it's going to be focused on those two areas of your life. So come back next week, 8:30 p.m. We are getting you ready to progress and do exactly what you desire to do in this new year. Take care, and we will see you next week.